You know that Deltarune Chapter 5 wants you to fight enemies when those fights end up looking like this in the 2D and Feather mode. Even when they're not this crazy and bombastic like against Flowery, the basic fights 100% incentivize you attacking the enemies, doing aggressive actions to beat them quickly and get your money. All new mechanics added in this mode when it comes to combat encounters, whether Chris's attacks or acting, are made with the express purpose of killing the creatures you are fighting. So what if we're trying to be a pacifist still? In the first fight you are ever faced with in this 2D mode against Aqua's bullet pattern, if you don't immediately attack, then Ralsei will notice. He will tell you that it's just a bullet pattern, it's okay to attack. But he will then follow up that statement by saying, though I suppose the pattern will eventually stop, kind of indicating to the player that this is like normal combat in Deltarune, where you have the option to spare the enemy through mercy or through, I guess, not attacking them, or beat them through violence. And that 100% works in this fight against Aqua's bullet pattern, although while it took like 10 seconds to beat the bullet pattern with violence, it's gonna take quite a bit longer to beat the bullet pattern when you just choose to sit around and do nothing, because you really can't do anything other than wait for her attack to be done, and that's kinda sad. But eventually the bullet pattern does run out of energy and dissipate, just as Ralsei said. After waiting far too long of a time and doing something that's way more annoying than just playing the game as it's intended, you can beat Aqua's bullet pattern by being a pacifist. But I think most people already know about this detail. I wanted to go out of my way and find out if you could do this with every single fight in this 2D Feather mode. And if you enjoy this kind of video and you're interested in these type of topics too, like it please and subscribe to Keyword Was Here. So before going on to any mandatory fights, I wanted to see what happens if you try to pacify optional fights. This fight with Aqua's bullet pattern you could skip by using these vines, but this could also be a good showcase of bullet patterns disappearing by not attacking them. This is an especially good one to test against because Aqua is very bad at hitting you with this attack pattern. You could jump up here and she will literally not be able to hurt you once. Incredible game design skills, Aqua. I love your sense of creativity. What I don't love is that I spent the next 10 minutes here standing and waiting with the vain hope that being a pacifist would work as it just did in the last fight. But as you can all see, my dear viewers, it does not seem to work. Whether it's this battle exclusively or just optional battles entirely, I did not know. But what I found out is that you cannot pacifist every fight in the 2D mode in this game. At the very least, you can't pacify optional fights, and certainly not this fight with Aqua. But it's a good thing that it's this fight that didn't work, because you can skip this fight anyway without needing to kill this Aqua, so you can still do a pacifist run at this point while getting Tropical Starwalker, which is probably the most important thing that anyone can do in Chapter 5. And I wanted to see if it was just a matter of that Aqua variant being impossible to spare, because we've already seen that the Aqua bullet patterns that throw knives can be spared. It was the first thing we did in this video, in fact, and it's the thing Ralsei specifically said was possible. So I did what I did then. I meandered about, hoping beyond hope that these bullet patterns would disappear without me needing to kill them. And as you can probably see on screen right now, that didn't work. So it seems like it's not bullet pattern dependent. It might just be that only required fights can be beaten in this way. So I accepted my fate and took a death like a true hero would in this situation where they cannot win with pacifism, and proceeded to try and test out the next required fight. Once you reach the cliffs, you will encounter all of Seth's books coming to attack you.
Hello there.
And because I didn't defeat those two books on the right side of the screen on the way into this mandatory fight, they actually joined the fight as well. So isn't that great? I've got 2 more books than I'm supposed to at this point in this fight. And I'm sure you can all see what's happening on the screen right now, but there is no way that you can pacifist this fight at all. Based on previous experience, you'll get some slight visual indication when a bullet pattern is running out, or someone will talk about it. And let's take this book right here. You can stand in this corner as Chris, and be completely invincible to it. You can do so, and this book will just continue to do this exact attack forever. No difference in the attack, same letters shifting. Rouse will say nothing, Susie will say nothing, Chris will stand there and do nothing. You can do this until the end of time, and you will never see this book dissipate. For some reason, Mr. Tobias Fox made one singular encounter in which Rouse points out specifically that you can wait and not attack if you want to do it in a pacifist manner. Why has nothing else followed those same rules, Toby? And then, when all hope was lost, I came across not only a second fight in which you can win with pacifist means, but also probably a fight that I will never win in any other manner. Please witness this incredible feat of writing by Tobias Fox. You're damn right it was, Susie, and you didn't have faith. And of course Seth doesn't understand what happened, and Aqua does, because she saw it happen once, but they can run out? Yeah, I guess they can, in 2 total fights in this entire chapter. Yeah, I love this interaction you get winning this fight this way, because basically we just stood there and Seth's attack blew up, and so did Aqua's. So they're not really running away defeated, they're just kind of running away having let us do absolutely nothing to them and having them fail to kill us. I guess they're defeated in that way, but it's a special kind of defeat, okay? And it's one that I wish was available in more fights than just this one, and the one that Aqua had us do at the beginning of this entire video. Because, spoiler alert everyone, I have now shown you the only 2 fights you can really pacifist in this chapter. The only 2 feather fights anyway. You can kind of pacifist Flowery's fight, but not really. I'll give you a quick cut of me trying to test everything else, and you're gonna see pretty much all the same stuff there. The next quote-unquote fight with Seth doesn't really have any combat unless you want to destroy their wallet and steal their money, so pacifism isn't really in play. You can skip Yellow's gunfight entirely if you don't destroy any of Blue's flowers, but that's not really what this video is about, and if you do destroy them, the fight cannot be solved with pacifist means, the gun will never disappear. And shockingly, trying to be a pacifist against a huge punishment laser doesn't work too well. I had a bit of hope that Orange's fists were weak enough that they would just despawn, but of course that didn't happen either, and they track very well. And even though Orange, Seth, and Aqua have basically the same fight, the only thing that happens is Orange's dialogue gets repeated over and over and over. The only feather fights that really remained at this point was the final gauntlet between all the flowers. Seth and Aqua obviously did not lead to anything. Blue and Yellow's attack did not lead to anything pacifist-wise either, although it did show a very interesting point that I wanted to make in this video. You can't do pacifist fights like this, because if you really just had to wait it out until it was over, they would need to end very quickly, or else there is absolutely no reason to take all of this damage when you could just be fighting and destroy this hat instantly. This hat has a lot of dangerous patterns that I never found in my playthrough of this game, because I just beat it quick enough. So the pacifist thing, I think, was always meant to be a joke, or at the very least like a bit by Toby Fox, because, you know, Undertale, Deltarune, they're not the exact same things, and Deltarune is not nearly as beholden to the spare everyone mentality as Undertale was. I appreciate that he put in the option to spare a few of these fights in this chapter, but I am slightly annoyed that he made the first fight you do in this chapter one in which Rousey tells you that you can wait until the bullet patterns despawn. And ironically, the one fight I could have probably waited to end, Greens, I didn't, because I was just done at this point, and I realized that, well, pacifism is not our future in Deltarune Chapter 5. We have to use our sword, we have to fight off all of the enemies in front of us. Deltarune has done this before. You had to beat Queen in fist-to-fist combat in Chapter 2. And really, that's just what it is. Deltarune is a different game than Undertale. I did find it very interesting going through all these fights because, like I said, you normally beat them so quickly that you don't get a sense for all of the thought and effort put into their patterns, and that they can actually be difficult when you're not demolishing them with your sword. So, thank you everyone for coming with me today. If you can prove that there's some way to spare all of these fights that I couldn't find, I would be very happy to find out, because I love learning this kinds of stuff. But as things stand now, you cannot pacifist Deltarune Chapter 5.